Hello, this is Greg Allison with Green Griggs, coming to you on the 25th of September, time on deck, 21:0300 hours Central Daylight Time. China, or at least unofficial of China, has seemingly threatened nuclear first strike attack on the United States. Did they? What did they say? What's it all about? Guys, we're getting in serious times. Also, some of the Chinese media is really seemingly preparing their people for the idea that the United States is attacking them, to get them prepared for the idea of war against the United States. You know, a lot of times that's what powers do. Before they attack another power, get engaged in war, they dehumanize the other side, or in the minds of their people, plant certain ideas. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving into precipitously very dangerous times. This is why I tell you that you need to prepare. Right now, it's getting unbelievable. I've been hearing talk a long time about a long, dark winter this year. What does that mean? It could indeed be very long and very dark. And it could be the beginnings of some very serious woes. I always talk about the threat of grid down, what that can mean to us. And it's nothing to be taken lightly, my friends. It could be exceedingly beyond your imagination, dangerous. All right, so we need to get into this. It is a proposition this channel to help you survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. And therefore, to get the videos I put out about these subjects and help you keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel, you need to subscribe to this channel, bang the update notification bell, and click all so you can get more notifications. Not only I tell you about these things, but I tell you about things to do. I teach you about raising food, your own gardens. I've got videos about eating free from the weeds and the trees out in the forest and the woods. And even in town, I did a video in front of a Waffle House showing all the wild edibles and the Waffle Houses. Why go inside? Look what's out here. So guys, I really try to help you, but also you got to know that you better help yourselves. You got to have a good storage of food to help you through the hard times, because sometimes our crop fails. You might not be gardening enough to feed your family. I did cover a video of that with Jason Avers too, how to make sure that you can grow enough for your family, but you also got to grow enough to put food back for those years that you have ice storms and hailstorms and other stuff tears up your crop, armyworms, grasshoppers. You better put food back, guys. Droughts, who knows what may come, especially if we get a volcanic activity like I mentioned in the previous video. So ladies and gentlemen, please avail yourself to everything you can to protect yourself and your family. And one good deal is available through prepwithgreg.com, and that is $100 off a 3-month supply of food that lasts over 25 years. It still has full quality at 25 years and will actually last much longer. This food is actually 2,000 calories per day. When I say 3-month supply, it's at 2,000 calories a day. A lot of these companies will be giving you 800 calories a day. This is real food. It's freeze dried, which makes it lightweight, but it reconcentrates into real actual food. It's not some goop or goo. This is good stuff. It'll carry you through. And the 2,000 calories a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it's a deal that'll make you a winner. Food prices are going up and availability is about to go down, and the supply chain could be going down because right now we're living in some crazy times. The supply chain is at severe risk. I need to go over that some more in the future. I've already talked about it. So what is going on? What is really happening? Well, it just happens that there's an article that's appeared in the Sun, in the Daily Mail, and some other newsletters, newspapers by this guy who's Sha Zukang. Sha Zukang was the top Chinese diplomat to the United Nations. So when he speaks, he carries authority. And a guy like him don't speak without approval from the CCP, because he is a primary tool of the Chinese Communist Party. And they don't publish that kind of stuff in China unless they mean for it to be said and understood. And what is the real meaning behind it? Is it a hollow threat, or is there something to it? Guys, the one thing I didn't cover, I talked about when China was found to be producing a missile field and a second missile field. I didn't do a video on the third missile field that we found over there. What else is over there? They are building missile fields like crazy. And now we're about to see why. So this notion that China's got 300 some odd warheads, which everybody's been saying forever, is, yeah, bull. It's like, oh, well, they made a few and they quit. There's no evidence of that. How do you know they didn't just keep on churning them out? We don't know. We're not in there checking things. But when they're building capacity like this, look out, especially when they're making threats like this. So what did he say? Basically, he said that China must hit the U.S. with a first strike nuclear attack before China hits Taiwan on the condition that Biden continues to support Taiwan. What? Are you kidding me? And he went further to talk about, how China should tamp down their no first strike policy. Well, China's already violated that in a sense, because China said once upon a time that they would never threaten, not use, but never threaten a non-nuclear power, and of course never do a first strike. Well, they've already violated both of those tenets, or at least they've never threatened, when they threatened to attack Japan. They said if Japan put one soldier, one ship, one sailor, one airplane, or anything in the defense of Taiwan, should China attack, which apparently they're really intent to, because if they're saying stuff like this is over the top, guys. What they said to Japan is if they would do that, we will nuke you, we will hit you, we will nuke you with first strike, and we'll nuke you continuously until you give an unconditional surrender. Unconditional, which means anything goes to China. Guys, that is over the top bullyism like we've never seen from a nuclear nation on earth. And this, they've threatened Australia, they've threatened the United States now. No nuclear power, not even the Soviet Union or America counterpoint, have ever made threats like this, even when we were facing each other. And the October missile crisis back in the Cuban days, the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. This is the highest level threats, and China is just doing one after another after another. China, you keep doing this stuff, somebody's going to take you seriously, and maybe they are serious. They're certainly building a lot of missile fields, and they're certainly not, openly claiming them. People are finding them by looking through satellite imagery, scanning them and scouring through their country. And also, they've made many announcements, the United States and other countries, that, well, you need to cut this out, and this and that and the other, but come back. Everything's got to be on their terms. Everything where we're supposed to renegotiate or come back to peace is we're supposed to apologize for everything and come back on their terms, which their terms is them trying to ram it down our throat and take over the world. Well, seemingly, they're certainly being exceedingly aggressive, taking the South China Sea and violating international law, flaunting the Hague, the international courts, and with respect to the law of the sea, and many other things. So taking what should be territories of other countries within their sea rights, with militarizing that area. And of course, when they did it, so we're not going to put military bases. Of course, they did that. So don't take them at their word. They seem to be very aggressive right now. Look at what's going on between them and India. Look at how the threats they're making against Japan. Look at the threats against the Senkaku Islands. Look at what the continuous threats against Taiwan, how they violated a treaty against Hong Kong. Basically, China violates all treaties and everything. They do anything that's to their advantage. And then if you don't agree with it, they flame you very open. They didn't used to do that. But see, they think they're in a position of power now. They think they got the luxury to be able to do this because they think they got us all by the economic jugglers. And they think that, and you know what? This is really interesting. I'm going to show you a couple things, guys. We're going to show you this article from the Sun. Hang on. Bing, bing. This is it. And this is what our friend, I say so facetiously, our friend Ambassador, I should say, Ambassador Sha Zukang. Sha Zukang. Yeah, okay, my Chinese is a little rusty, okay, guys? He said, the unconditional no first strike use is not suitable. He said a bunch of other stuff. Then, unless China and U.S. negotiations agree that neither side would use nuclear weapons first. Could you hold them to their end because they violate everything else? Yeah, let us not have it, but they'll do whatever they want. Guys, especially in building 3 missile fields out there. And the United States is not a country that normally would use something like that first, unless, of course, we thought they were going to hit us. But then you don't have to worry about that. We got a general in charge of our entire military forces already promised to call China and let them know if we were going to attack them before we did. And he's still in charge of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Milley, Milli Vanilli. Yeah. How are we to compete when our own top generals are in bed with the CCP, apparently? I mean, my gosh, no, that was over the top. No general should have ever made statements like that, but he did, apparently. Well, allegedly. If that's true, that man, he needs to be gone and not getting a big fat pension when he retires either. Okay. It's called, Articles of CM. Marshall with the court in front. Okay, I don't know what I say here. All right, unless China, U.S. negotiate. Oh, it's already said that. Or the U.S. will no longer take any passive measures to determine the effectiveness of China's strategic forces. Passive measures. Oh, China, don't do that. Passive measures. So China expects they can flaunt anything they want with their strategic forces, and we can't push anything back at all, but they can do all the pushing in the world. Really? Take South China Sea, take islands, take trade routes, and just grow their sphere continuously. And if you don't agree with them, down your throat with a flaming attack. That's how they've been responding to everything lately. It's flaming counterattacks verbally and elsewise, like they're indignant, like they deserve the world. The world's theirs. Anybody that challenges it is just wrong and shouldn't even exist. And how dare you even say anything? I mean, they're over the top, guys. They're over the top over there, and that's scary. I'm going to show you some stuff they're telling their own people first. All right. Oh, this he said here, the strategic pressure on China is intensifying by the U.S. What's in response to what they've been doing, as built new military alliances and increase the military presence in our neighborhood. Well, China's so big, growing so fast, it takes alliances to counter them. And poor Australia sure can't stand up to them by themselves. Oh yeah, they did threaten Australia, by the way. The threat came ahead of the meeting, this quad meeting between the U.S., China, Japan, and Australia. So they're trying to get in front of that, trying to make us knock our knees a little bit. But you know what? They don't make these threats too idly. Now, can China really see through with this? Well, I'm building some missile fields. What's going on here? So, but for some time in the future, the U.S. will see China as its main competitor and even its enemy. Yeah, well, where did that come from? We didn't a few years ago until you started being so aggressive militarily. We were all gaga over China. We were going, wow, look at this. We get all these nice baubles for nothing. Cheap labor. I mean, holy smoke. Our guys were falling into mouth and breaking their legs to get over there and do trade with China with all kind of hopes, that, hey, we could have a great opportunity. And then China showed their true colors. See, they used this open thing to build their industry up to support their military. This is really run by their military guys. So it's been a Sun Tzu trick pulled upon us by the Chinese Communist Party. It's what it appears to be. Because the Chinese Communist Party has re-exerted control. So I can show you some of that too. And it's talking about, the country's constructing nearly 300 new missile silos. Yeah. Even though it's thought that they got 320 warheads. Guys, those silos can carry missiles. The ones that they're developing are MIRV capability, capable of carrying several warheads apiece. I've talked about that. I'm not going to go into that now. Go back and check my other videos for the details upon that. So, this is tied to AUKUS. And there's a World War III fears going on right now, seriously, being discussed. And among other things, as you might know, China's just done yet another incursion into Taiwanese airspace with a couple dozen fighter craft, bombers, and intelligence planes. The anti-submarine planes flying in, 2 anti-submarine warfare aircraft, 1 electronic warfare aircraft that's for spying, intelligence, and so forth, guys. So this is not to be taken lightly. They're pressing Taiwan continuously. The pressure is ratcheting up. The intensity is getting higher. But then there's this thing here, the Chinese wrote, which you can clearly read, or well, maybe you can listen to it. It does look hard to read.
每个人都能感受到一场深刻的变革正在进行。中国娱乐圈一直都不缺臭气。
Okay, maybe you can't follow that. Okay, we got it in English here. Well, this article actually starts out cracking down on various aspects of the Chinese culture and how they got to put those back in tune and how to write them. Like, they can't have no more sissy boys on the news media or movies or TVs. They all got to be manly men because they need to inspire the young boys in China so they will be able to fight. That's what they're looking for. They're looking to raise fighters, warriors, not guys who are, on the effeminate side. So they're really attacking their news media. They're also attacking their billionaires that that their economy launched. So they're tapping them back down because they might think for themselves. And you can't think for themselves in a communist state. So they're re-exerting the communist state is what they're doing. But at the end of this article, they make this statement here. Oh yeah, by the way, where did this article go? I got to tell you about this article. This article was actually published. Well, it was, maybe we should go to see who wrote this article, okay? That's not the bottom. Okay, we'll scan up here. This article was written by Li Gongman, okay? And he was actually at one time the editor-in-chief of an official Communist Party newspaper. So when he speaks, he carries weight. Not only that, but this article was published in Xinhua News. And Xinhua News is the official news outlet for the Chinese Communist Party. It also got published in the Chinese, what is that? It's just their daily over there. Basically, this is the People's Daily. It got published. Yeah, the People's Daily. So the Xinhua News is the official news outlet of the Chinese Communist Party. So what's published in there is officially sanctioned by the Chinese Communist Party. What you got to remember in China is their papers are not privately owned like all the news media in the United States. So you get opinion pieces. Almost anything written in American media is in some form or another an opinion. But when it comes out from the Chinese Communist Party newspapers, newsletters, it's party position. And in China, they don't have one party and another party that fight each other. And what this official position is may vary from time to time. No, there's one party, there's one answer, there's one voice now. And that's how it comes through. So this message is officially sanctioned. And so it likes to start to say it's also published in the People's Daily. And what that means is that everyone in China has read it basically, because the People's Daily is for all purposes a practical mandatory reading in China. So everybody there almost has read this article. And what's the key thing about this article? The key thing about this article is that it accuses the United States of some heinous things. And they do this to dehumanize America. They do this so that they can, in the minds of their people, whatever they do against us will be justified. So maybe that first strike, their people go, oh yeah, this is for consumption at home, not for consumption with us. So maybe in the minds of the people, Americans had it coming. Look what America did to us. Here's what they are telling their people. And the people over there don't get counter news. They don't get other viewpoints. They don't get news sources from all these other places. Remember, they got a great internet wall up in China. Not just the Great Wall of China, but they got a great firewall, the Great Firewall that limits outside voice coming in their country. So the people there don't get to see. I mean, like if we did that here, we might not be seeing this. We couldn't see stuff from there. No, that don't happen here in the United States, at least not yet. Okay. Okay, I'm going to rethink that a little bit. Here's what it says. China is currently facing an increasingly severe economic, severe and complex international environment. The United States is implementing increasingly severe, military threats. That's one of we threaten them. Economic and technological blockades. Really? We don't want to put a blockade technologically with their wallet. We just said you couldn't put your spy agency, 5G company, Huawei, all over the place, because that's what they do. Financial strikes. Really? You struck your own self, Xi Jinping, when you shut down your tech industry. It cost you $1 trillion, all to achieve your internal political control that you're trying to reassert. Political and diplomatic siege against China. Siege. We're just trying to hold ground. And launching biological warfare. Now there it is, guys. There it is. They have accused us of launching biological warfare upon them in their state media. Wow. I seem to have a big counterpoint to that, but this is what they're accusing. See, the Chinese, when they hear that, they got shut down real hard over there. And they lost a lot of people. They read this and they get mad. See, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to stir the anger against us, dehumanize us, and make it justifiable in the minds of the people, whatever they want to ask them to do against us, or for whatever they decide themselves to do against us, either way. Accuse us of cyber warfare and public opinion against China. Excuse me, there's countries all over Southeast Asia that have turned public opinion against China. I can show you several news sources from India, for example, that are really banging on China all the time. And they're not influenced by the United States. They're independent. In fact, they crack on us too. They're pretty fair about it, but they're really cracking on China. Here's what's crazy. Wars. So they accuse us of wars and space wars. Wars and space wars. Space wars? When we launch a space war on China, what is this? Have increasingly launched a color revolution against China through a fifth column within China. Wow, it sounds like they take what they're doing and they're accusing us of it. Because we know they got their universities, they got their people here, their organizations over here, they're all over the place. And I did a video talking about their plan to take over America and how they're putting even corporations, trying to put them in every congressional district so they can basically take over our Congress, or at least have a lot more influence. Wow. So guys, those are hard-hitting, huge, over-the-top accusations coming at the United States from official Chinese media, going out to all the people in China. And they're not hearing any counter story against it. Now, a lot of them are smart enough to figure it, but how many people are gulping this down? Wow, guys. Well, this is also part of why they're cracking down on their news media, and they're claiming their stars are Americans. The Chinese stars on the media, and here they'll call them Americans, so you can see where they're actually picking on their stars and how they went to China and worship, at the shrine there in China. They're talking about just a ton of things in this article before this. Mostly, they talk against the ant, which was going to be launched by. Oh shoot, what's the I'm getting brain locked. Know the names of these organizations and companies, because I'm Alibaba. Yeah, Alibaba was trying to launch Ant, how they shut that down, and they understand how bad that was, how they'll accuse somebody of tax evasion over there for not liking them. Oh, this Chinese woman was a Chinese female version of Buffett. Oh, really? So take Margaritaville song, right? So they're in there just attacking. They're on media now because they're trying to whip it back up into the appropriate media is people that are ready for combat, strong characters. So they're really trying to reshape their culture. Anyway, that's how this article starts out, but it ends right here with these accusations, beginning of the second to last paragraph. So these are over the top accusations. If we published this in our media and come out that hard, we would get our knuckles wrapped for it. So where are we going, guys? What's happening? Stop this share. Seriously, these are dangerous times, very dangerous times. All I can say is get ready, prepare. It's looking increasingly like they're planning to hit Taiwan, and they're threatening anyone that stands up in any way, shape, form, or possible, or even lends any assistance to Taiwan. If you send a toothpick to Taiwan, they'll probably attack you for it. So Taiwanese are very freedom-loving people. They really want to be independent. They don't want to do anything to do with that Chinese Communist Party state. They know they got a far better system in Taiwan, and they're really loving their freedoms. They saw what happened to Hong Kong. They're not happy. They know now that China got Hong Kong, they're aiming at them. Will it happen? Will it go through? I guess as good as mine. We better pray it, don't we? Better pray that we posture ourselves in enough strength that China won't want to make a first strike on us, that they won't want to do these things, that they would know that it would cost them greatly, and they ought to know that. Well, I don't know. Our general just said, "Oh, we'll tell you if we're going to attack you. I'll call you up. If we're going to attack you, I'll call you first." That's a way to lose. There's words for that. There's a two-letter word for that. It starts with a T and it ends with son. Right at the very top of our military structure. It's what it sounds like if that was really said. Of course, that's alleged. That's alleged. But holy smoke, guys, where are we at? What's happening? You know, we gotta clean house here at home and make sure that we're ready to stand up to the threats that face us. You know, you don't win by looking weak. You get run over, especially with bullies like that. If you're weak, they're going to run you over. They're going to fight you out. They might be making a lot of rhetoric, you know, kind of like that little guy who always talks loud. Well, I'll beat you up, blah, 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 blah. You know, the little guy who's always talking loud. That's not me, okay? Don't, you little robots that listen to these things, don't. I'm not threatening anybody. I don't do that. I do not condone violence. I'm not even for war. I would never want to start anything. But you got to defend yourselves. You got to defend your families too. You got to take care of your families. So, and yourselves. That's all I'm saying. We can't let people run you over, or they will. If you're going to be the weakling, you get run over. You know, some people, when they are weaklings, they do a lot of talk. That's all I was saying. Blah, 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 blah. But is this what this is? Or is this just proof that they're about to hit Taiwan and they're just trying to clear the field? And something I suggested, I said, China might just do an EMP attack on us. Oh yeah, well, they got 300 US transformers, got Chinese back doors in them. They might just shut them down electronically. Plus they're hacking, cyber attack, direct ballistic attack on the ground with sleeper cells. Yeah, there's a lot of ways they could take our grid down. Lots of ways. EMP attack could be a sneak attack. We could blame it on somebody else, North Korea. Someone come out of Venezuela, like I said. We got a blind spot down in our underbelly in the south. That's an unstable country. People can operate down there off that coast, and you wouldn't know who shot at you. You wouldn't know. That's what worries me. So the potential for mayhem is really high. It's getting higher. Let's hope and pray that it don't go there. But we got to stand resolute. But do this. Get ready. Prep right now as much as you can. Prep. Get ready. And it's not just what you spend or what you buy. You need to get yourself in better shape. You need to make sure you got strong alliances with friends and family, that you got a little tribe there. But you got to make sure that they're not going to eat you up either. Furthermore, get right with your creator. And you got to kind of mentally foresee what could happen, how bad and how ugly. I know you don't want to do that. But the advantage in doing the thought exercises and how you would respond to them is this. If it hits and it's really bad, you won't be staring in catatonic shock. You won't be like a deer in the headlights until you get run over. Because when you panic, you don't think. You can't think. Maybe you can't react. Or if you react, you do the wrong thing and it costs you everything. Keep your head on your shoulders to keep your head on your shoulders. I say that in many different ways, guys. But seriously, man, let's hope these things don't come to pass. Pray. But guys, you know, we live in perilous days. You know, maybe these things won't happen, but we live in perilous days. So I ask you to get ready to prep. The worst thing that can happen from prepping is that, you know, 10 years down the line, you got food that's a whole lot cheaper than what you're buying it for out there, and it may not even be available. There's lots of advantages to prep. That's not the only threat on the horizon. We got the sun that could get us the EMPs. We've got all kinds of things that could happen. The economy could crash. There's so many things that could happen. If this is why you need to consider it and do it. Get yourself ready as much as you can. That's all I got to say. I wish you all the best, and I'll just add with a final closing thought. There's good people and bad people in every place in the world, of every race, color, and creed and religion. There's good people of all of these in every city, hamlet, and every country. It's the governments that stir people up against each other, like those articles I just brought you. So I'm not anti-Chinese. Don't go out and do anything bad to somebody just because they're from a certain country, because you don't know who they are and what's really in their heart. Don't jump conclusions. The best way to fight hate is with love. Just as light dispels darkness, love dispels hate. So my final thought to you is go out and shine your love light to the world. We really want to take the world on and turn it to a better place. That's the way to get started. With all that said, thank you for watching.